Excel's Name Manager can be found on the Formula tab of the ribbon. Opening the Name Manager will give you a list of all the named ranges in a workbook, in addition to a whole host of commands and features. I've opened the Name Manager in the last workbook that we were looking at, with a few new names added since then. You'll see some different icons along the left-hand side, different types of scopes, and the comment value field that you saw in the Define Name command. Additionally, there are new Edit and Delete buttons, a filter option, and a Refers To box at the bottom. Let's break these pieces and these names down in some more detail to learn about what we can see and do here. Looking through the list, you can see that we have one duplicate set of names. I've used Z local names once on names 1 and again on names 2. The scope of this name applies specifically to the names 2 worksheet, while this one applies specifically to the names 1 worksheet. All of the other names are workbook scope names. Additionally, there's one name with a different icon, the Table 1 name. We will not address tables in depth until Chapter 6. However, data tables will show up in your Name Manager, which will be helpful later on in understanding how tables can be useful. But I digress. The Name Manager contains all of the information you could want to know about your named ranges, including the values contained within them, if they're small enough anyways, where they're located, and their scope. So let's look at how we can use the Name Manager. The first commands that are likely to jump out at you are the New, Edit, and Delete commands. Each command works exactly as you might expect. The New command opens up a box for creating a new name. It's the same dialog box as the Define Name button, so you're already familiar with it. The Edit command opens a window that is identical to the Define Name dialog box. However, the name you had selected to edit has all of its properties loaded in with the Scope field grayed out. This is one of the limitations to named ranges. Once a named range is created, the scope becomes locked. If you created a workbook level name and meant to make it a sheet level name, you actually have to delete that name and then recreate it again. You can make any other changes you want, including to the name itself, press OK, and your name gets updated. Finally, the Delete button works just as advertised. Selecting a named range and pressing Delete will delete the named range once you've confirmed the request in the dialog box. Beyond these 3 simple commands are 2 more sections of interest, the Filter command and the Refers To area. The Filter command is useful when you have many named ranges, like in this workbook, and you want to use the filter to identify names either with errors in them, without errors, names scoped to a specific worksheet or to the workbook, or define names versus table names. You can't search specifically by name, but you can use this filter to apply some useful other types of filters to the list of names. The Refers To area allows you to make quick edits to named ranges without going through the Edit command. If you select a name, for example if I select T All Names, you can make changes directly to the Refers To property here. For this, I can change it to point from D4 to D7 to D4 to D15. By typing this in here, I can commit the change to the name with the checkbox, or cancel my change with the X box. Notice that the Refers To looks like a formula. This will come to be very important in our next chapter, but we have a few functions to learn about before that formula aspect will be useful. This Name Manager is the built-in interface for interacting with Excel's named ranges in the various ways. You can create, edit, delete, and browse through your named ranges here. In our next lesson, we'll move on to using named ranges effectively to improve the readability and functionality of our formulas.